Welcome to 2025, the first Sustainable Task Force meeting. We do have, I'm Harita Nagmani, Chair, present here. Maybe we can do the roll call.
Jack Elwood, Vice Chair.
Michael Devaney.
Robert Downs.
And Jason Scott.
Thank you. We'll go to the next one, the appointments and resignations. Jason, you want to provide any update?
I have no new information. Currently, we have 5 full-time task force members, but we do have 2 positions that need to be filled for alternates.
Okay.
And I have no new information on those yet, but I'm hoping to get some news this month. As soon as I hear something, I'll make sure to let you know.
Thank you. We do not have anyone here for the public comments, but is there any email correspondence that anyone is aware of to bring it up here?
The only thing that came up a few weeks ago, one of the former members at Ciccarello sent us an email about a educational program, and I should have added that to our new business, but I may have to wait till the February meeting on that. There's a 35-page document he included in the email, and I have not had a chance to digest it. I looked it over briefly, but it's some curriculum that he would like to have the town of Rocky Hill consider adding.
Yeah, this for like high schools, is that
Yes,
one? Yeah,
yes.
I listened to that a little bit on, yeah, it was pretty nice. It was, he had the Board of Education, I think he was there too. They're considering making it a class, I think, for a high school.
Because of the size of it, I thought maybe what I should do is add it to next month's packet and give it to you, as early as we can to give you guys some time to digest it. 'Cause it's more than a page or 2 thing. It'd be good to add that. So if that's okay with you, I'd like to add that to the February agenda.
I think that's kind of like a future thing, not this year, probably next year, I think.
But I think, Ed would like us to review it and then see if that's something the task force would like to support. So I just want to give you guys adequate time to look it over and make sure that's included in next month's meeting, if that's okay.
Yeah.
How would we support it? I mean, it sounds good to me. I mean, how would we support it in a way?
Well, our task force here, one of the things that we do is serve as advisors for sustainability initiatives for the town council. So by our task force reviewing it and supporting it, we can then pass that information on to the town council and let them look at it and see if they can reach out to Superintendent Zito. And then I don't know anything about how long it takes to develop curriculum for a school. So I don't know if there's a cutoff coming up for new material for next year's classes, or if it has to come from the state level. I don't know. So
I think that was, if I recall correctly, it was like looking at some of the ancestors in Rocky Hill and other towns where they would go back and someone would do research and they try to do a historical summation of what they researched for each particular town.
that makes sense. That's involvement with the historical society.
Yeah, historical society.
And being a former teacher, right? So
Yeah, is that something that would go through Board of?
Yeah,
Board of Ed,
yeah. I
Yeah,
think he was looking for some support from us.
Yeah, the meeting was actually, he had like about 6, 7 people there. And I think the superintendent was there also. So he was reviewing it. And he seemed like he seemed positive to it, so I think maybe something that we could do or support it.
I agree. We should add it to the agenda.
Absolutely.
Next time.
Okay. That was the only thing I've had come through.
With the public comments. Nothing that I heard either. Did any one of you hear or have any email correspondence? Okay. So that brings us to the next one. So do we have a motion to update the the approval for the meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
So that's good. Then the next one is the report from the task force chair. So progress towards the certification. Recently, I, Jack, and Jason, we met like in a small group to really see like what are the things that are still left for the and the progress towards the certification. I know, Jason, you were looking for some help, or you were almost you were actually putting things together. And if we are all here to volunteer, so let us know if you need any help to with the submission.
Sure. Yeah, just today I started going through some of the information and piecing together some things. I had already grabbed some information, but I was starting to like kind of piece it together into write-ups. So I think I'll probably have a good idea by the end of the week if there's any gaps that I need filled in, and then I can just reach out on a couple of those. But I'm just going to start uploading some stuff tomorrow.
Okay.
I figure if I do, a half a day, I did half a day today, I'll do half a day tomorrow, a full day Friday, and by the end of the day Friday, I should know pretty
Yeah.
well where we're at.
Well, let me know on Friday if I can help you at all.
That's good. Yeah, I kind of figured what I could do is I could just send out an email, let you guys have some information, and then if I have some gaps, I can see who wants to volunteer.
Sure.
Depending on who has availability. I know Jack, you said you've got time to help, so I want to take advantage of it if I can.
We all are here to help. So our goal is to hit the April date, right? I think there is a submission,
Yeah.
so we want to hit that date. So hopefully that will go through this time.
Yep, and we have there's a full-time fellow that's been hired by Sustainable CP, who's been in contact with us and has met with Jack and I about it. So she's in the wings, looking to help where she can. So she's already reviewed some of the information that we've assembled,
Yeah.
just to see roughly where we're at. So she's got an understanding of what we've done so far, and she's gone back and looked at going like a 3-year look back period. What sort of things would still qualify. And we're in pretty good shape, which is good. But still, it's until I actually get all that information fully assembled, I don't have full grasp on what's still needed. Because there's a piece of supporting information that we might need that they would want.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at, the spreadsheets that you gave me. It's pretty involved.
Yeah.
And I think if you need any help with it, because, we're coming up on the date is April 8th. I know it sounds a long way away, but we're almost in
right around the
February
corner.
now,
Yeah.
and it's like we kind of have to do it now.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get as much of it done
Yeah.
over the next 10 days as I can, so that way I can say, all right, it's early
Yeah, we
February.
can-
This is uploaded. They're going to review some of the stuff that's uploaded, so the process is going. And then if there's any gaps, then if there's action that needs to happen by the task force, I can make sure that that's on the February agenda if there's additional things that we need to do.
Now, can you upload it in pieces, or is this the whole?
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
whole thing has to be?
Each individual event can be uploaded, so they look for supporting documentation, like if there was a flyer, an advertisement, any photographs
Yeah.
that were taken,
Yeah.
things to try to prove that the event did really in fact happen. And so, and then a written description about the event that can be uploaded with it. So
And that's a formal thing that you do, and it's like a,
it's kind of like, it's not much different than like uploading a photograph into a digital,
so it's basically
portal.
a spreadsheet that.
No, it's a series of web links.
Okay.
But all that spreadsheet that we have, that's
Yeah.
the information that's going to go into those individual web links. So each individual action
Yeah.
has locations where you can upload data for a specific event that applies under that action. So
Versus.
yeah, it's pretty well organized. Like it makes sense, and it's not too hard to do. It's just preparing the data in advance before you upload is really where the time-consuming part is. And then it's kind of just upload a file, upload a file, upload a file. Okay, go to the next one. Upload a file, upload a file, go to the next one. So there'll be some time invested in that, but at least I know if the data's prepped and I'm getting that stuff in, then I'm gonna start feeling a lot more confident about it.
And how long is the feedback? So once we submit something, is review happening immediately, or?
I think that's what she said, like she's willing to do that, which is a different answer than I got from the previous fellow, where they said that we had to submit everything and then sit back and hope, and we really wouldn't get any feedback until the submission.
Yeah, but I think she just emailed you that last week, right?
Yeah.
Last Thursday?
Yeah,
and,
looking for an
you know,
update.
asking to see if you need any help with it,
Yeah.
so.
So I think, it's good. I think sooner she can check on some of these items, then we'll know if the information we're providing is sufficient.
Sufficient.
Yeah, and then, there's always that chance that there's a past event that I may not have enough information for, so that gives us some time to follow up if, we need additional write-up or
Yeah.
a photograph that we didn't have or something like that.
Mike, just to let you know, this is the stuff that's from, not necessarily last year, but the year before, that we're trying to get uploaded.
And even like, some of the latest stuff.
Stuff last year, though.
Yeah, I've got some stuff from the end of the year, even something that happened this month that might qualify, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
just
good.
Get it all in,
yeah.
So yeah, so with luck, silver certification will happen as a result of all that, and that'll put us in a good position for 2025. Yeah, so I will let you know what sort of gaps I have in my information. I should know better, like I said, by the end of the week.
That's good. Thank you. Anyone has any more to discuss on this topic before I move to the next one?
I think we did a good
Good,
job
yeah.
discussing that one.
So next one will be the subcommittee reports. The action 10.1, encourage an equitable and just food system. In that, Rocky Hill Community Farm.
That's one of the
And-
main things
Right.
on the sustainability, Connecticut. Up the chart that you're trying to update, right? That's one of the main things, right?
The
The
farm.
10.1, yeah.
Yeah, there's some information for the community farm. The last time we all met back in November, you said you were gonna try to reach out to the econ professor.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's
Andrew,
okay, that's okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he had come and had his students give a presentation to the land acquisition,
Yeah,
farmland
yeah,
preservation.
yeah.
You
Yeah, I
went to
think
that.
I listened to that.
Yeah. So what I don't know is, based on the presentations that students made, how much of that will become the final product.
Yeah.
But I think it was, a jumping off point for the town to get that information and see what the students could come up with.
Do you have any update on what?
The only thing I can tell you at the moment is that they've been looking at the budget. Just last week, they reached out to the firm that oversaw the soil, contaminated soil removal and the testing that's been done to make sure that the site's safe. Just looking for any outstanding items that still need to be done in terms of testing. Because there's follow-up testing, multiple rounds of follow-up testing that can happen after there's contaminated soil that's removed to make sure that things are still clean. So I know they did some sampling at the end of the year, November, I think they came in.
Yeah.
And they had reached out to that engineering firm, say Thursday last week, just looking to see if there's anything additional that needs to be done and what sort of money is available in the budget.
Anything on the plots? Individual plots, anything new on
I
that?
haven't heard that. I think that's part of what that presentation was from the students at UConn.
Yeah.
But I think, one of the questions is gonna be is how much money is available to construct them,
Yeah.
and whether or not that's gonna happen.
So we're not sure if
this
it's
year.
gonna happen this year.
I don't know yet today,
Yeah.
but when my boss returns from vacation next week, he might have some more information on me on that because he's been involved with the capital planning.
Yeah.
So I think
So
he
that's
might
more
have.
the farmland committee.
Yes.
They're dealing with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they've I think they know what needs to be done, and then trying to break it out into requisite phases so they can get things done. Like
Yeah.
they'd like to do more with the barn itself.
Yeah.
They would like to do obviously set up the growing plots and things like that. And there's a couple of asphalt driveway aprons that still need to be removed from the site. So town staff will be doing that next year.
Okay.
So just they're kind of remnants
Is that
from.
on the apron on New Britain Avenue?
Mhm. Yeah, I
So
think-
that apron,
Yeah,
it
this-
almost looks like you can go in there.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's like about 10 feet?
Yeah, so there's,
Yeah.
there's two of them they want to remove.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
good.
And then they might even, I think they might be repaving one of the one on
New Road.
New Road, I think, yeah.
Because that's going to be the only entrance and exit, right?
Oh, well, no, there's one on New Britain Avenue as well,
Oh, there-
but it's
there
not,
will be?
it's there if needed, but there's water bars that come across
Okay,
it
all right.
to prevent washouts, so it's kind of difficult for vehicles to drive over.
Okay.
But it's available if we needed it.
Yeah, okay.
But I think, they would like to use the main entrance off New Road.
Yeah.
That's how they'd like people to enter and exit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Safer.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I personally would rather pull out on a New
That
Road.
road's a racetrack.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the vicinity, the traffic signal, they're planning on upgrading that traffic signal in the near future. So we had a meeting out there about a year ago, and I had an update on the project back at the end of December. So it looks like a go for this year. There's some signal upgrades in some other parts of town too. So you'll see some upgrades along Silas D, and this is all done by the DOT.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I hope that when I come to the February meeting, I'll have a lot more information about where things are at with the community farm. I looked to see what we had for farmland preservation meeting minutes, but I didn't have anything recent to look at. So I'll have to ask around and get back to you.
How often do they meet? Do they meet monthly, or is that?
I think they're set up to meet monthly, but I think they had
They-
canceled a couple of meetings.
Okay.
I think the last one they had was in
Was
November.
the farm one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, so anyone else have anything on that one?
Once we have the information, maybe we can just share it in the Sustainable Rocky Hill Facebook page, because there is interest from the community
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
when the community farm will get started.
Yeah,
So maybe
absolutely.
providing an update there, one of us can do that.
Yeah.
Once we have the
I'm
information.
not a farming expert by any means, but, it's, in addition to constructing those plots, I imagine the topsoil, you'd want to be working some of that and getting compost into it, things like that, to make sure they get the nitrogen content where you want, so you can grow produce out of it. So I don't know how long,
That would
I don't know what their timeline is for that, and I don't know how much remediation has to be done, when they want to be doing it, I don't know.
Yeah.
So if it's gonna be 2025, I'm sure they're
Yeah.
gonna wanna get started on it soon.
Yeah.
Spring's coming.
I would think.
Yep.
Okay, then moving on to the next one, strategic materials management. The first one is report material management's data and reduce waste. Does anyone have any update on this one, or?
The only thing I can comment on is, I know that there's been some talk in the state about trying
yeah.
to kind of recycle additional products.
Yeah.
So there's newer technologies that are available now, where they think that they can be producing plastics and recycling plastics that are slightly different character than what's currently being recycled, but still being able to recycle that. So they may be actually expanding the types of plastics that can be recycled. So I think Connecticut's hoping to take advantage of some of that. Our highway superintendent, Joe Lentini, he's our solid waste guru, since he's the one that handles those contracts. And he has a lot of experience with that, from his long career. So I know he's, watching that. He's, attending regional groups, and he's definitely up to date on what's going on. I just don't know, in Rocky Hill in 2025, what's gonna happen with that. So, I'll pick his brain and see if he has any insights for us. So, I don't have anything else this month for that.
I guess just in the past, right, we have been talking about, well, I don't know, I'm just trying to think, it's not reporting the material, well, it's reducing waste, I don't know, just we had talked about, or the town was talking about, or interested in distributing, selling the at-home composting kits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess I'll ask you if there's been any movement on that, and then as an idea, right, because we've talked about promoting the composting services at the transfer station. So it seems like those two things could work in tandem, right? Because people don't have a garden at home, they could bring their at-home composting to the transfer station, and effectively create, like, I don't know, the personal responsibility-based municipal composting program of sorts. But I don't know, but yeah, has there been any more talk about the at-home bins?
I haven't talked with Joe about that. I know that we,
Well, we brought that up last year with the bins, and Joe wasn't happy about
No,
doing that, so.
he doesn't want to do the bins.
No, the money, we talked about the bottle bill, see if we get,
Yeah.
actually it wasn't, it was the sustainability, Derek, we were talking about that, and he didn't want to use any of the money from the bottle bill in order to buy bins, so that kind of ended it. And Joe wasn't high on going that route, so that's what happened with the bins. But we did talk about it last year, doing trying to give away some bins, but that just never came about because we couldn't, there's no way to get any, we have to get some money somehow and give out the bins. It'll produce, like Glastonbury, I think, had a program where they actually did have, they did give out bins, like about 100 of them, and they did, and at a reduced price, and they had a pretty good effort from that. So, but the town was really for it. So I think,
Yeah.
So
I used to work for the town of South Windsor before I came here, and they had a program where they had reduced pricing for residents if they wanted to purchase one, and they would store them in an unassembled state at the town hall, so they were available for purchase. A resident could come in, and they just put them in the vehicle for them, and they could take them home and assemble them. And it was very simple. You didn't need any real tools or anything. It was just bending some plastic around and attaching it to the frame. It's
yeah,
pretty
I
quick
think I
setup.
mentioned last time I have one of those from the original one
Right.
from 20 years ago.
Yes.
With Rocky, when Rocky held out of the plant.
Yeah.
It was great. So
I
kinda
think
like
didn't
the idea.
MDC have some sort of a program for a while too at one time? This is before I was working in Connecticut, but I've heard rumblings of that at one time that they had offered something like that, a discounted one. MDC must have had some grant money or something that they were able to use.
Yeah,
The only other thing I could suggest is we could look and see what sort of grants we might be able to take advantage of. If it can't be funded out of the bottle money, the net bottle money, then there might be another source. And then it's just a question of how would we distribute those to the residents? What sort of infrastructure would we have to set up? Would that be something that we would keep it at the transfer station and it could come down during hours to pick that up, or come here to town hall? I guess that'd be a question too. But I can look and see, if you guys are okay with it. I can do a little research and see what sort of grants might be out there. I can also reach out to some of the communities and see if anyone's had a program that was funded that way.
yeah, that's what Glastonbury had.
Yeah.
They had a program like that.
Yep. We have
A few years ago, but
a listserv, so that if a public works official has a question, it's a pretty easy way to reach out. A quick email, and everyone gets to see it, and they can respond. And
Yeah.
it's a great way to get information quickly.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be very hard for me to ask that question, and I could probably get a couple of responses. Maybe there's some more information out there I can get a hold of. And, that somebody else has already gone through that process. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
That would be great.
Agree.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Okay, so moving on to our discussion of new business, one of the idea that came was trash recycling food waste collection presentation. We are under bullet number 9. So this is just to
Where are you?
spread. 9A. Yeah. This is just to spread the awareness, right, on what type of materials could be recycled versus what is trash versus what is recycled and what is food waste, like biodegradable waste. So this is one idea that came out as part of our small group discussion. How do we expand on this idea and get some presentation with maybe the Park and Rec? Maybe we can explore that option.
I mean, are there like simple things? I don't think there are, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like at Elm Ridge Park or whatnot, they know they have the general trash bins, and then do they also have recycling bins?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Okay, and then, I guess my
There's
next
the
question.
blue and the greens.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say, like, I don't know, if you could put, I mean, again, it's a simple thing, you can just put a graphic of what's generally recyclable or trash and what is not. Like at the very least, like saying, don't put organic waste in the recycling or something like that.
Go to one of the concerts.
And then that brings up a good point, and that's one of the
Something
things
more
that we
attractive
talked
for
about.
bottle returns, and, I mean, we try to do that at the high school during football games and stuff, to try and get the kids not to throw them away in
Yeah.
the regular garbage, but they still do.
Yeah, we thought that
Something more-
maybe if we could have some sort of a presentation where we could have some information about, you know, what belongs in the trash, what belongs in recycling, to try to prevent contaminating the recycling or putting things in the trash that aren't supposed to be in trash. That'll help with, you know, the town's bottom line, really. You know, if we have contaminated waste that has recycling in it, that should have been recycled, I mean, it's not a good look for the town. And people throw things in the trash bins that shouldn't be in there, like grass clippings and things like that. So, you know, that adds to our tonnage that we have to tip. And I know that that's a frustration for our public works department, you know, when they find things like that. I mean, Joe Lentini has told me he's gone out and checked people's trash. He's done that and seen some of the things that people put in there. It's very frustrating for him. So I thought.
A lot more often.
So, you know, it might be, and I don't know how effective it would be, but I think having some sort of educational session might
Yeah.
give people some information. And, you know, maybe we can follow it up with some information on the website, maybe some additional signage based on that.
Well, I tried to get my food waste sign at the transfer station. I haven't had any luck with it. Joe said he'd work on it, but he never came through for me. So maybe I'll give him a call again and see if I can, you know, just have a bigger sign there, say what actually should you put into biodegradable food waste.
On our town website, under the like the news and announcements section, the food waste announcement that when it was first offered last winter, that stays kind of near the top, so that it's pretty much always visible every time you click on news and announcements. That's in there as a kind of a top priority, so it kind of weighs above a lot of the other news and announcements. So it tries to
that's
stay,
good.
you know, fresh in people's minds.
It's good. It is being used.
Yeah.
I go there every week to bring my food waste there, and it's, you know, it's pretty much, a bin is full. Yeah, mostly
So you go
inside.
every week?
Yeah, I go
Yeah.
every week.
That's good.
Yeah, and there's some people who very, you know, they keep doing it every week too, so it's not just me, it's just, there's a bunch of people, I don't know who they are, because I saw one lady go and do it one time, and said, hey, I do this too every week. She said, yeah, I do it too.
Now, I know, just like, you know, I'm the guy that takes out the trash at my house. So, you know, I've got a lot of stuff that goes in there, and I can see how much of it is, you know, leftovers from food preparation.
It really makes a
and things.
difference.
Yeah,
It's like I
absolutely.
have 2 small bags, I do it twice a week, but it's, they're both kind of heavy.
Yeah, you get
So-
10 plus
And that's how
pounds, you know.
they do the pricing of it, was the weight that comes in, and, you know, or people just do the, you know, the waste stuff, which is really heavy, just, it would help.
Yeah.
Do we have any stats? It's been more than 6 months now, right? That the transfer station is collecting the.
Yeah, it's been about a year now.
A year. So
Yep.
do we have any stats that can come from the town where in our presentation, maybe we can highlight that, the importance of doing that?
Yeah, so when those bins are full, you know, it's town
Yeah.
staff that takes
Yeah.
them to the aerobic digester in Southington. So they have paperwork on the amounts that they've dropped off, you know, with all the visits that they've made. So I'll see if I can get hold of that paperwork.
Would be
and
good,
we can
when if we
summarize
can
it.
put it in our website, right, with that information. And regarding this presentation, whom should we work with to get something scheduled in the Park and Rec? Will it be Rita or?
Absolutely, Rita. It's a question, I think, of how big of an audience we might want to draw as to which room we may want to book, and whether it's going to be at the community center or at the library. And then, what time of day do we want to do this? Do we want to have some sort of midday thing for a lot of the seniors that are there visiting? Or do we want something maybe a little bit later in the evening so we can catch the people that are coming home from work? That seems like that might be a better option because it's kind of opens it up more. Might get more numbers. So I could talk to Rita about that tomorrow and find out. I'm sure we could book a room, but we'd probably want to start getting some materials together on that.
So will Blue Earth be interested to actually come in and do some presentation? Can we reach out to them, or should that be, even community members can do, or someone from our team can do it, but getting some more data from external, right? This is how it's being done.
Yeah, we should get a summary from Blue Earth on how much they've done since they've been coming to town. I'm sure we can get that information from Mr. King. And then we can get the information from Joe about how much waste we're typically generating in town every year, and how much of that we could potentially be reducing by taking advantage of recycling and food waste diversion. And then I could reach out to Joe and see if he'd like to stop by, maybe give a talk for a couple of minutes if he's available in the evenings. I don't know what his availability is like. Certainly with plow season, if there's a snow event, obviously he's going to be on the road with his crews. But that might be something that's of interest to him, just to try to get the word out there. We do have some paperwork that we leave at the counter when people come in with some information about recycling and trash collection. But it seems like doing something like this maybe every couple of years might actually be.
Well, we should, just because we've been doing this for quite some time, but right, I don't know, because he's not come to a meeting. Not to say that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there's a variety of things that we would probably benefit if you were here. Because I was looking and I saw, just because you mentioned that, not to go off topic too much, but snow management is another thing in a variety of aspects we can get points for that we might already be doing too.
Green Snow Pro training and things like that, yes. Yeah, I actually attended a seminar last month about it, just an informational seminar from Sustainable.
But that's one of the okay, I was gonna say, that's one of the things is like, I don't know if we have to host it, but yeah, doing some sort of education event on winter.
There are, through UConn, there's a training program for public works professionals, and they have a class every year, multiple sessions for training town staff on how to use salt effectively, cutting your budget down by controlling the volume that gets placed in the road, so dialing your equipment, calibrating it to make sure that you're putting down the amount of salt that you should have and not waste it. And then looking for ways of reducing your salt usage if there's other treatment methods. I know he's probably had some of that training in the past, but I don't know if he's ever gone through it with the rest of his staff. I don't know. He may have already done all this already. But that's a question I have to post. I just did the training last week, so I haven't had a chance to ask him about it yet. But that's a good point as well. Joe did sit down with some members of the task force one afternoon, I'm going to say towards the end of 2023. We sat down for about an hour, and he kind of just talked about trash for a little while. It was actually really informative. But getting him here on an evening meeting, maybe, obviously he cares about it, but I don't want to promise it yet.
Yeah,
as long days as it is, we could ask.
Do an hour at lunchtime maybe, as opposed to cutting into his evening.
Yeah. He's busy during the day too. He's a tough guy to get a hold of. He's always on the move.
Yeah, he is.
There's always projects going on, so you got staff everywhere, and he's ordering things. He's talking to people. He's making things happen every day.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of knowledge on these subjects.
Yeah,
so I think we could all learn from him, and he's a fun guy to talk to. He's a lot of energy. He's very very animated. He's fun. So yeah, I could talk to Joe and see if he might want to get involved in that somehow. And if not, certainly I'm sure he'd like to see what materials we'd want to present, so he could give us feedback.
Well, even if you just have a couple of people coming into his desk, I'd like to even spend an hour with him someday and just sitting at his desk. Well, of course, he's not at a desk most of the time. That was a problem.
Yeah, he's busy. If he's at the desk, he's usually paying bills.
Yeah.
Or on the phone talking to
Yeah.
residents.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's he definitely has a lot of knowledge on the subject, and
Yeah, I tried to get him face to face with him, but he just couldn't do it. The best I could do was getting a phone call from him.
He's been with the town longer than I have. I think he's probably been here 12 years, I'd say, and then his staff even longer. So they know how Rocky Hill really works and who's putting out stuff properly and who isn't.
That would be great.
And he also handles the bulk waste collection as well.
Yeah.
So we have a private hauler pick up our trash and recycling, but it's town staff that picks up the things that are too big to fit in those bins. So furniture, appliances, stuff like that. So that's
Big job.
yeah, absolutely. So currently for homeowners, they do offer that service. It's 3 days a week. They can schedule a pickup, and then we come with a pickup truck with a lift gate, so they can lower the lift gate down,
Yep.
put the stuff on. But it's manhandled. I mean, it's hard physical labor to put mattresses and things like that on a truck.
So what happens to that waste, do we know?
So that stuff goes to our transfer station. And then it goes into various, roll-off containers. Anytime somebody asks for a pickup, our front-end receptionist, office admin, she asks them about, willingness to donate things. She's like, oh, have you talked to Habitat for Humanity? Have you talked to Salvation Army? Different organizations that she knows operate in town that could take things like that. So she does try to head off some of that stuff in advance, which is good. I don't really have that listed in here specifically, but we just last week, I think was our first week, we had a meeting with a local nonprofit called Journey Home, and they set up they furnish housing for previously unhoused individuals. So people that have been homeless that are now getting their first place, they're providing furniture for them. So they can actually set up an apartment for them to live in. And so they take donations of furniture, plates, shower curtains, all the little things that a person needs to set up a place to live. Journey Home has started reaching out to communities to see if there's any diversion that can be done to get some of that stuff that normally would be going into roll-off dumpsters and disposed of, and put them instead in the hands of people that can use them. We've added that to our website as an available option, and that's something that our front-end people mention when calls come in. But also, they hoped that we might be able to come up with a way where we might be able to save some of that product for them so that they could come and grab it themselves and take it to their warehouse in West Hartford. They have a volunteer staff. They only have like 2 full-time people that work in their warehouse. So they have a few trucks, like panel trucks, and then volunteers that pick up this stuff. So there might be a situation where we would have to, stockpile it somewhere for a short period of time until they can have staff come and grab it, which is a bit more complicated just because there's not a lot of space to do that down at the
Can
transfer
they come
station.
and pick up from the homes, for example, if an individual is interested to donate?
Yeah, absolutely.
They can-
Yep, they do ask for a donation if they were to do that. But they basically set up a time, that works for you, that they can have their staff come by with a truck and grab some things. So at this point, that's as far as our involvement is with Journey Home, but we have hopes that we might be able to come up with some sort of a plan where we might be able to get more of that stuff to them by being able to intercept some of it at the transfer station.
And this information is on our website?
Yeah, just under the bulk waste pickup, there's a quick announcement about it, and that's something that we're offering up to residents if they'd like to donate some of their stuff. And it's great. It's more than just furniture. It's small appliances, it's plates.
How would you get the bulk waste? How would you, can I get Rock
If you were to go under the departments
Yeah.
section,
Yeah.
go under Public Works,
Oh,
and then on the
Public
left
Works.
side of the screen, there's a series of options that you can click on for more information. And one of the very first options is bulky waste pickup. But basically, if you're a homeowner in town, you can contact the town to
Okay.
try to schedule
Alright.
somebody to come get some of that stuff. Yep. There are limitations to some of the things they take. They don't take construction debris.
Yeah,
That
nobody
way.
nobody
Yeah,
takes
there's just-
construction
right, yeah,
debris.
yeah. But yeah, there's still plenty of things that can go in bulky waste pickup. So diverting some of that also helps us as well too. You know, it's not food waste, but it's also something else that we can get out of the waste stream. That's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
So
that is a good thing.
that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, reuse, right, recycle, reuse. So-
Yeah, and you know, there's other ways of advertising those types of things too. You know, it's with the rise of the internet, you have things like you know, different, like the Rocky Hill Forum
Yeah.
or buy nothing groups, you know, through Facebook, Craigslist in the Hartford area. People can put up things like that. You know, I know when I was a young guy just starting out in the Boston area, I definitely was able to you know, furnish some of my apartments and use furniture that it was, you know, reused and rehomed, which was definitely
Makes sense.
a good way. Helped my bottom line. I felt better about it too. It's like I didn't see any reason to go out and buy brand new stuff.
Yeah.
If it could be, you know, gently used previously, I could find a home for it. So makes you feel good. Yeah. So I think that's all I have on that
On that one.
for 9A. Yeah.
Okay, and now going to the 9B, expanding food waste collection location. You know, there were some talks about it, right? Maybe even having it in the grocery stores or somewhere.
Well, you were
Is that
talking-
an option?
Yeah, you were talking about that last time.
Yeah, Joe Lentini expressed an interest to me about maybe expanding,
Yeah.
having more collection points in town for people that want to drop off food waste and just coming to the transfer station. So that's something he just happened to mention to me off the cuff about a week ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But
Yeah.
there's ways of doing that. It's just a question of trying to get the food waste that you're looking for that's not contaminated with things
Yeah.
that shouldn't be in there, like trash.
Yeah.
So that's something he has to
Yeah.
think about, you know,
Yeah.
if we can partner with other locations that could kind of keep an eye on that bin so that it's not.
The eyes on it, like the transfer station.
Yeah, so I think that's why
Otherwise,
it's the preferred
that's-
location.
that's what you said, it's a good idea, but you need eyes.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what idea he might have, but he would love to be able to have more locations available to people, which is good. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's proof, to me anyway, it feels like that's proof that it's working. That, you know, he's seeing
Interesting.
sufficient quantity
Correct.
that, you know, he sees the value in it, which is good.
Should
Yeah.
we ask public on where they would be, what are the locations that they would be interested in, like to drop off, at least to start with,
Yeah,
to
we
get
could.
some feedback
Yeah,
from public?
give some feedback to
Yeah.
Joe, sure. Absolutely. You know, whether it was a grocery store that would want to do it or,
I think you were thinking more like fire
Oh,
station.
fire station.
maybe
There's
yeah.
a possibility.
Another
That's a
town facility,
possibility,
possibly. Yeah.
because then it's be under somewhat of an eye.
Yes.
Even off during the day, even at night, there's usually someone in the fire department, don't they?
They're
Sometimes.
volunteer stations.
Yeah,
And they
so-
have a rotation system where not all stations are manned at the same time.
Okay.
There'll be a crew that's on call.
Yeah.
But they operate out of a different station, I think, each week.
Okay. But there's still, you know, I'm sure there's police or patrolling that, you know, it's the fire station, people aren't gonna mess with it, I don't think.
Most likely. I hope. But I mean, I've seen people set trash cans on fire in Elmridge Park, so who knows?
Yeah, that's Elmridge Park, but, yeah, the fire station, I mean.
Yeah, you'd think, yeah, hopefully not at the fire station. Absolutely. Yeah, good point.
Definitely, we can send some survey out, right, to see the public interest on what locations they want, and we
Yeah.
can give the feedback to Joe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. If no more discussion on it, moving to the next one, the CT rights action 6.3 and 6.5. I know, Jason, you mentioned that this is something that they can come and provide some session on how to use it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Brian Walsh is their kind of community outreach person from CT Rides, which is a division at DOT that offers ride sharing to people that might not necessarily be on a bus line. He had given me a call, reaching out about the possibility of maybe expanding some service to Rocky Hill if there was an interest in it. We have different large employers in town that have employees that could be taking advantage of a program like that. We've got a couple of new developments with multiple units that are coming online. So some of these things might be of use to the town. And he said that he'd be willing to come in and give a presentation to the group. And we had talked about that back in November. But if that's okay, I could reach out and see if perhaps he can come to the February meeting and give a short presentation. His office is right here in Rocky Hill, so he might be able to swing by pretty easily after work and come for a meeting. And he said that if we had more interest in outreach, he could be available as well to come to different events in town and present information. So he'd be willing to do that too. So if that's okay, I can contact Brian and see if he's available to come possibly to the February meeting, give a quick presentation.
Yeah, like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, something small.
Quick.
Yeah.
That would be great.
All right, so I'll contact him.
Moving on to the next one, inclusion equitable community impacts, equity coaching for sustainable city to optimize for equity. So I know we have completed the equity statement. Did you get the statement from the committee?
No, actually, I know it's complete, but I don't have a copy of it on me, but I should track that down. That'd be good to have. We could post that for people to see.
And that's one of the elements of the thing.
Yes, so
Yeah,
the town would get credit under sustainable CT,
Yeah.
having that been approved.
I think that's a pretty
But
big
there are
one.
other equity actions the town may be interested in doing. There's equity coaching available for communities through sustainable CT. They have full-time staff available for that. And they reached out to me towards the end of last year and said that if we wanted to have a meeting, we could. I haven't talked with our town manager, Ray Carpentino, about it yet, although I should, because he has been with the town longer than I have, and there may have already been some equity coaching involved. I don't know if Faritha and Robert, if you know, as you guys were setting up for the bronze, if there had been anything previously.
No.
Okay, so I'll have to check with him and see how he'd like to do that, whether we'd like to have them come in and give a presentation to the town, or maybe present some materials for us here at the task force. But they do have that service available where they can kind of take a look at what the town's been doing and then see if there's other opportunities. So that could be useful to have somebody with that type of experience to be able to offer some suggestions.
Yeah. So will this also be something that our inclusion committee can take advantage of, or maybe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and maybe that's the better option, to have them present some information there.
Right.
Maybe we could have someone from the task force come to that meeting and be there to introduce them or something. Yeah, I can reach out to the chair, or
Tom
if you would like
Kosker.
to.
Yeah, I can reach out to
Sure.
Tom Kosker too. And regarding the earlier equity statement, do you want me to reach out to Tom Kosker?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. I'll do. Yeah. And anyways, they are also interested in partnering and asking if they can actually help with some of the sustainable city actions. So this could be something that we can partner with to them. With them.
Something to consider too is, I think you also get points in sustainable CT for working with other communities as well.
Yeah.
So if there's opportunities there where we could work with one of our neighboring communities like Weathersfield, it might be a way to, increase the scope of what it is you're trying to do. It's a possibility. So I don't know if Tom has made any inroads in that area, through some of the work they've done, that perhaps they already have some connections with some of the neighboring communities, might be of use.
Yeah. I can actually, in my email to him, I can ask that question too, so. think we are done with the new business here. Anything else that we want to discuss before we announce the next week's meeting, next month's meeting, and then adjourn? Okay. So the next month meeting will be on Monday, the 24th at 6:30 p.m.
Last Monday of the month, right here in this room.
Yeah. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion it.